All right, what is going on, everybody? Ooh, late in the week. I'm sorry getting so late to you guys, but week 10, still grinding, still got to make these start-sit decisions. Lots going on in the NFL this week. Going to talk a good bit about all of these players here, beginning with the Texans and Cleveland Browns. This should be a pretty fun game. Cleveland Browns obviously in more of a playoff situation, but Texans could play spoilers here coming in at 2-6. And the Browns, arguably doing pretty well this year, even though they're in a pretty tough division. This should be a pretty competitive game. Vegas is expecting this one to be a high over-under. We got a 51.5 over-under here. The Browns are favored to win this one by 3. Texans defense has been absolutely garbage across the board. They have given up the 5th most points or better at every single one of the main fantasy positions across the board, whereas the Browns have been getting better. In the last 5 weeks, they've allowed 25th most points to quarterbacks, even though they're 11th on the season. They have gotten a lot tighter against tight ends, 29th in the last 5 weeks, 16th against wide receivers. So they had a few big games in the early part of the season, which have now turned into better showings for them defensively over the past couple weeks. I think there's still more of an average run-of-the-mill defense rather than a tighter defense. So I think we're kind of seeing swings back and forth here. But with the Texans coming into town, I do think this should be a pretty competitive game. In terms of who we're starting here, this is pretty easy. We've got Deshaun Watson pretty much starting unless the matchup is terrible. Now, with David Johnson missing this game, I think Duke Johnson definitely should be in that running back 2 consideration for you, especially in PPR leagues. Not expecting a fantastic game out of him, but should give you a baseline of points there. And if you are trying to fill in a bye week or an injury, Duke Johnson should have been a good waiver wire pickup for you guys this week. Will Fuller, Brandin Cooks, we're starting them every week until further notice. The real question is, can you trust any of the other pieces here? If I had to pick one, I guess I would go with Randall Cobb. As I mentioned, the Browns have been really good against tight ends over the past 5 weeks. And with already having the ambiguity of not really knowing between Jordan Akins and Darren Fells, who is going to be the guy that ends up scoring the touchdown, I don't want to play that game with the tight ends for the Texans. On the Browns side, we are still waiting for exact confirmation from Nick Chubb. So he technically wasn't on the injury report, but I think he doesn't have to be because as of Friday, he is still technically on IR. It does look like he's going to get activated and will likely play. If he does, he's going to be a strong start immediately. He should be healthy enough to come back and play right away. So I like Chubb a lot this week. Regardless of whether or not he is back, I'm still playing Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is actually scoring on average more fantasy points with Chubb in the lineup than he was out. So I think you can start both of these guys with confidence. Jarvis Landry is the only receiver I have any real confidence starting here for the Browns. Higgins, after goosing us before the bye week, even though he looked good in the game that Odell Beckham got hurt. And then Austin Hooper should be back from his appendix surgery, so look for him to regain the dominance that he was starting to show right before that injury. So I really like Hooper a lot this week. Mayfield, you might be able to talk me into in a deeper league, but hopefully you don't need to start him, even though this is a good matchup. And that's pretty much it. I actually think the Texans could end up surprising this week. I have them beating the Browns barely. It should be a close game. I got the Texans 28 to the Browns 27.